There are many things that happen every day, and it is sad knowing this illness won't go away. But when he says, "I love you," then it's all worthwhile. So I look at the other side and then I smile.
Respite care, that's a bad word to Roy. He first thought it meant that to be put into a home. And I say to him, no, it's when your driver takes you out for 2 hours, it's respite for me. So I have 2 hours and I stay at home and I just vegetate. I just do what I think I might do, or I don't want to do anything. It's a relax for me for 2 hours. I'm trying to get him to go to a respite for a few hours, and I think he will. And probably, like, we go to a psychiatrist and she has explained to him that if I get sick, then he's in dire straits.
My health was pretty good for most of the time, but at the final stages of my caring role, things started to go wrong and I was having all sorts of problems. I was suffering badly from lack of sleep. Leon was a nocturnal wanderer. He hardly slept at all at night, if any, and that meant I was very deprived. My doctor, he said it's time. The dementia advisor, who's a great friend of mine as well, she said it's time. The counsellor at Carers Queensland said it's time. So I had to bite the bullet, as the saying goes, and put him into care. And it was unbelievable because we only just finished filling out all the application forms for the assets and all that, and we put the application form in them. And that was on a Monday, and they said, "Be you another couple of months." I thought, well, I can last that long. But it was the very next Friday they rang me and I had to make a decision right then. It was very traumatic.
We had no idea. I have a nursing home that's right behind me. I just assumed that my mother would be in a nursing home that right behind where I live. Nope. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. We went into probably 7 or 8 different nursing homes, and a lot of them, the first thing that they want is an ACAT. They want your financials before you even go and have a look at the nursing home. And then when you do go and have a look at them, it can be incredibly depressing if you've never been into a nursing home before. Well, every time I go and see Leon, he'd always calls me my beautiful darling wife. And I thought, he never mentions my name. Surely he hasn't forgotten my name. I hope. I always fear that one of these days he's going to forget who I am. But anyway, I thought, well, I'll jog his memory. So I got this name tag. The dementia advisor made one for me with lovely big letters with May. So we put it on the name tag off. And off we went to the nursing home. Okay, he's sitting up there and he's looking at it, and I said to him, "Darling, do you know what that is?" He said, "Yes, it's the month before June."
The doctor in Mandurah said to me that it was time for Mum to go into a nursing home because your dad's a very sick man and you need to move them up to Perth. So that was very difficult because Mum wasn't ready to go into the nursing home. Dad couldn't care less because he was happy that Mum was going to be with him, so that was good, because he didn't know where he lived at that point.
One day I went over and he's sitting at a table, and there was a gentleman sitting on the other side of the table, and Leon just points to him and said, "That's my father over there." And I said, "Where?" And he said, "Here." And I said, "Oh, really?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "You've spent time with your dad?" And he said, "Yes, I've been talking to Dad." And I thought, how lovely. I can't do that.
I think the end of life stage is the most challenging. I think when somebody is unable to communicate anymore and feels, still has pain and still has feelings and, wants to express those things but can't, that's when it's really challenging. And for my mum, the level of pain that she had to go through at the end of life, without, that being always obvious, was the most difficult thing. And, that's where it's so important to have a really good GP who can come in, to residential care and assist. Having a palliative care team in the residential facility doesn't often happen, and it should. The reality is that, people are often at the end stage of their lives in residential care, and yet we don't provide the same level of palliative care in those facilities we should.
The plans we had are now cast aside, and I grieve for a future that has been denied. There will be no more travel to different places. You feel safer with their only familiar faces. I'm not always strong, even though I try, as a battle with time and the long goodbye.